Yeah, right? Do this. So hi, I'm
Yes.
JiJi. I am mother of two, grandmother of two. I have been working on a cookbook for my kids for a while. They want handwritten cookbooks. I'm more of a method cook, not a measuring cook. So we decided that maybe recording this would work better for everyone. You can just kind of see that I'm doing 3 shakes. I don't have to mess up my food by trying to figure out how much I'm putting in there. I'll be sitting some and moving around a little slow. I have been recently diagnosed with cancer, so this will either help you, but no, it'll help my kids. Today we are going to make hamburger steak, rice and gravy, green beans and corn. I'm not a gourmet chef, but the food is good. This was voted on, this is what we're making today. I did not have hamburger steak until I was in high school, and my stepmom made it, and it's been a favorite ever since. I make it a little differently than she does. I think they call 90s moms butter moms now. I don't even know where that came from. Funny thing is, we were margarine moms, really. We didn't do a lot of butter. That came about in 2000s. So, margarine's cheap, and you can use it, but I don't know why we're the butter moms. I'm not sure. So, a lot of my stuff is a little bit, I'm not chopping up onions to put in this. I'm going to use soup mix. It's been a lot of what will my son eat, because he was a very picky eater and he had a lot of games to play on not eating. I'm using 3 pounds today because there are 6 of us. While me and the babies will probably eat 1 apiece, these grown-ups are going to eat at least 2, maybe 3. I'm going to just put a little bit of salt in here.
Okay.
So I know that Americans and Southerners especially get to tease about all of our onion powder and our garlic powder. That's okay. We're going to put a little bit of onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder in here also. Not as much garlic, but my dad says that garlic powder is needed in beef and pork. He's the one that taught me how to cook most things. So seasoned salt, some in there too, because I just want my food to be seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we are going to put a packet of onion soup mix in here. Again, I'm not going to do bouillon and chopped onions, but you can. You can do chopped onions and a couple tablespoons of beef bouillon. I do that when I'm feeling fancy. I also put probably 1/8 of a cup of breadcrumbs in here. It just makes them a little more airy, especially since they're going to be cooking in a gravy. I cheat on my gravy also. My children really weren't big on eating gravy when we were growing up. So I'm gonna let this start heating up. Please wash your hands and anything that you're gonna be cooking with. A little bit of oil in here just so that the hamburgers don't stick. And we are gonna be making a gravy, so it's not gonna hurt anything. Hamburger by itself kind of makes a watery oil mixture. So all we're doing now is just squishing all this in, making sure that it's kind of evenly distributed. I have a lot of meat, so I probably could have done like 1.5 packets of the onion soup mix and been okay, and we might have to get you to come and open one up. I'm gonna see where we are with that. Can you come and grab one of those onion soup mixes, and we're gonna
like half of one.
Yeah, and then we can put 1.5 in the gravy. It'll be fine. You know that you're loved when your daughter-in-law will come and open up packets for you. Oh, sorry. You're good. Go ahead. Just keep on a little bit more. We're good. Thank you so much. Good. Yeah, our hands are usually in something disgusting. And
What you need?
pepper. So I do also coach middle school PE and basketball and track. I should get an apron.
We should have one.
Throwing onions, meat everywhere. It's fine.
Just don't mind me.
Okay.
We have the fire.
We have set the kitchen on fire. That is how fantastic this food is. It just starts fires by itself.
Have it on medium?
Yeah, like 6. And now this is pretty typical of Haley and JiJi experience, honestly. So we're just grabbing some. I try to make them as uniform as possible. They're not going to be completely uniform. And sometimes I get really overzealous in the beginning and make like 2-pound burger patties for me. I'll stick them in this pan though. I'm just rolling them out for now. Piling them on top of each other. I am messy. One time I was 18, I was still living at home, and I was frying chicken for my dad because I wanted to go out. And I know that seems ridiculous for an 18-year-old, but I respected my dad. So I wanted to go out, even though I told him I wasn't going to. And so I was frying chicken, and he comes home from work, and he was farming at that time. So he'd been in the fields for a really long time. And he comes in and he says, Hey, what you doing? And I said, well, I'm frying chicken. You love fried chicken. It's like, well, I do, but you should have killed the chicken first. Because I had flour everywhere. It was in my hair, it was all over me, it was on the cabinets, it was like, where this is, it was all up there, it was on the ceiling, I had it everywhere. It was just absolutely everywhere. And I got so tickled that I grabbed his drink on accident and took a big old sip out of it. And it was Diet Dr. Pepper, which I did not drink. And so I was hysterically laughing, and so I just spit it back in his cup. And he just said, why didn't you just swallow it? I don't know. I was like, well, you don't drink after people anyway. And he was like, well, I want to drink after you. You didn't have to do that, you know. It's also the same night that I made gravy, and my stepmom, who was a fantastic cook, she's also a home ec teacher, so she taught people how to cook. She said, Kathy, what happened with your gravy? And I'm like, this is not good.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was mean. It was straight up me. So then she felt bad, but it was fine. It wasn't good. I had never made gravy at that point, so it was pretty rough. It was not great. We're going to kind of downsize some of these because I got, again, overzealous on that. We are coming over here to my son and daughter-in-law's house where the babies are. We like to have a weekly dinner, but sometimes we get too busy over here tonight. She's very kind and let me use her kitchen to make a mess. I always did holiday dinners when the kids were growing up, and it'd be the whole thing, you know, turkey dressing, all 15 sides, a bunch of desserts, and I was the hub. Everybody came to our house to do holidays. My siblings were a lot younger than me, so they were there too, and one year we had paper plates and plastic spoons and forks and all that, so their dad is back from the table, and he gets ready to throw his stuff away. So we just, you cooked everything, don't worry, I'm gonna do all the dishes. Well, me and his mom got tickled about that. I was like, okay, yeah, are you sure? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do the dishes tonight, ha, ha, ha. Well, he did not look behind him in the kitchen where there was just a stack of pots and pans and, oh yeah, cookware, serving spoons. You know, everything you've been cooking with all day long, he didn't think about that. But guess what? He did the dishes.
You gotta do deviled eggs one day.
Yes.
I do not know how to cook deviled eggs.
Sure, yeah, it's not hard. My Mama Strong taught me how to make deviled eggs. She was the deviled egg. Also, you know, the one Easter cake I made that one year had like the coconut grass. It was all, she did one every year, and she taught me how to make her icing and stuff, which was a big deal for us, you know.
Yeah.
She was the best. Both my grandmothers they were very different cooks, but they were both excellent in the kitchen. My maternal grandmother catered on the side. She was an accountant, but she would cater, so she taught me a lot. And the thing with her is, if you worked in her kitchen, you kind of knew how to cook the things or you could at least figure it out.
Yeah.
She didn't let a lot of people work in her kitchen, so my sister and I were very lucky with that. But she would lie to you about recipes. We found a cookbook from where she worked. They would put out a cookbook every year for a few years, and daughter was reading it, you know, and she was like, well, this was some kind of sauerkraut surprise or something. It was ridiculous. And I was like, we never ate that. That is not something that we have ever eaten in our lives. Not ever once. Not one single time. The surprise is, she's never cooked this. So we are just browning these on each side. They're not going to get completely fully cooked because they are kind of thick. And that's okay because they are going to simmer in the gravy for about an hour. And as they kind of shrink up, you can add more to the pan. Again, we're just trying to get them browned. Get some of that grease in there for gravy making.
Gravy making.
Gravy making. I also have two Southern grandmothers who were Southern in very different ways. My maternal grandmother she lived on a farm. She homesteaded. They moved. She got married. My grandparents moved. It took them a week to get from where they were, one part of Louisiana, to go to the other part where my family lives now, or the majority of them. And so she was the go outside and she picked her piece. So my maternal grandmother was society lady, you know, high heels and
hair done.
Always makeup on. It drove her nuts because I'm not a big makeup person, never was. I never really cared much about my hair. It was usually in a ponytail. Drove her nuts, just absolutely. She just cannot believe that, you know, someone in her family was not done to the nines. I'm sorry. Proud 90s grunge girl that would go in public with no lick of makeup on. And it's okay if you squish these. They say don't squish hamburger, which is true on the grill, but it's okay. I am at one point going to do grilled stuffed chicken and grilled pork chops. And I want to grill some zucchini and squash. I think it's really, really good. So I'll show you how to do that too. That way you know how to make most of your, not just burgers every time you grill. We grilled a lot. I'm not, now I'll just admit this, I'm not a great steak griller. That's because that was always my dad's job, you know. So never really had to be a great steak griller, but we can learn. I was a good pork chop griller. And stuffed chicken that I do is actually just kind of something that I made up one day out of ingredients I had at the house because we lived 20 miles outside of town, and sometimes you just have to be creative, and it's really good. Smash and grease, it's fine. All right, we're just kind of squishing my last one in, and that's okay. Do a full loin one like too. I know it looks pretty nasty over there right now, but I was right. 9 to 10, it was 10. All right, we have our not done yet, by no means, patties, because they are going to finish cooking in the gravy. It's just a little bit, I would like it to be just a couple more seconds. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna leave that cook down a little bit, that in there, because we're gonna need a good bit of gravy for this.
Bubble, bubble.
Good enough. Good enough. Just a tad. So, this really is just to be sure that we have it fit. It's later. Laura taught me how to name it. Laura is my grandmother. She did not want a grandmother name, so we call her Laura just so nobody's offended. I'm just dumping some flour in there, as you can tell, until it looks like it's, you know, a little thickety. A little bit of, say, with hamburger meat, and stew meat does this too. It kind of wants to ball up because of the water content that's in the meat. Off a little bit, but that's pretty weak. So you may get some little hard pieces, and we're gonna hope that that kind of dissolves as we go. I am gonna brown this a little bit. We don't want it to be this color. That'll be good. We will also do Mississippi pot roast. We do have some glass pans that we use. Don't use them a whole bunch, only because one time when I was pregnant with Mason, I had one explode on me.
Oh.
So I'm careful with what we cook. Like I'm not, I had cooked a roast that day. Bacon in it seems to be okay, but I had taken it up. It wasn't even on a, look, I put it on pot holders. Wasn't on a hot stove, wasn't on a cold counter by itself, but I don't know. It also was not, you have like the Eight Coffee, which are a much better brand. This was a, it was everywhere. It burned my feet up really, really bad too. So not only was I about 8.5 months pregnant, I had burnt feet and no dinner. I had to call my grandmother who brought Big Macs. It was everywhere. It was a major explosion. There was glass everywhere. And my rabbit was in a cage, like off to the side, like in the dining room part, but it still made it all the way over there to him. So he was not happy with me. It scared him.
Yeah.
That is the house that we lived in where the horse came in the door.
The horse?
I was asleep. We heard somebody banging on the kitchen door, 3 a.m. Got up to see what in the world was going on. Again, I was pregnant with Mason. And there was a horse at the door. So I opened the door and I was like, dude, what do you want? You know, and apparently he wanted to come inside. And so he just walked into the kitchen. So I had a horse, a rabbit, a potbelly pig, and a puppy in my kitchen at 3 a.m. I woke my sister up. I was like, you need to come in here. We have a horse in the kitchen. And she was very upset with me for not telling her the truth at 3 a.m. And then she came in there and she was like, oh.
You weren't lying. There is a horse here.
There is a horse here. It really, really is. And we live not terribly far from here. So it wasn't even in Winslow. It was up the road.
Oh.
Yeah. I called my neighbor. I was like, I think your horse is in my house.
Oh.
And I don't know how we're going to get him out of here. I had to walk him through the living room. It's a whole zoo. It's fine. So this is where we cheat. We are going to get, we'll go ahead and put our little half a pack in here. And we'll just put that on this extra one. I kind of thought after I said that we might need this one. So, onion soup mix.
Okay.
For this, I don't do this for all of my gravies, but yes we do. And we are going to pour in a brown gravy mix. Now, I know this may seem redundant because I just brown flour, but it works. And we're going to go through the ugly phase of this where it's all matted up. Gotta trust the process. Some pepper, some salt. Now, I don't add a terrible lot of salt to begin with, because you may oversalt it, especially with the brown gravy mix and the onion soup mix, and then when you put the meat in there. So a little bit later, whenever you're kind of gently stirring it, when you put the patties back in, you can test your gravy and see if you do need more salt in it. I wouldn't go overly crazy with it.
Better to add salt later than.
Yes, than to go, oh, because, you know, there's not, you can't really go back from that on this. Thankfully, when you are eating rice especially, it kind of masks a little bit, but I think we may be able to just use the one. We're going to test it in a minute though once this all kind of breaks up. Do you have a whisk?
Maybe. The kids might have torn up all of my whisks.
I'll just get it, yeah. Okay. That's fine. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Wait it out for a second. I have to replace mine pretty frequently anyway, because they do fall apart. If you do need to add another one after you've started this, just mix it in with the water and put it in there. Don't try to put it in there dry. See, this is not done by any means, but you'll know. Yeah. Let's have the second one. I usually use warm water for my pour in here, but it's gonna thicken up. So this little bit of water that's in here is not gonna like make it too watery or anything. So this is a very simple gravy. Oh, you didn't put 400 things in your gravy. That's right, we do not. It's a very simple brown gravy. We're not trying to go nuts with it at all.
Whoa.
Yeah. And there won't. So we are just shoving these in here. And we are gonna let this simmer for about 45 minutes, an hour. We're gonna turn this back down to about 5. We're gonna cover and just let it soak in the goodness. We can take 5 while that. 20 minutes, I'm gonna start my rice. I do have this. I like to put my rice in when I'm washing it because it's easier for me, and if you can just wash it in the bowl. I make a mess when I do that. And then we'll do the corn and green beans, which basically is gonna be just heating up, except for the corn. I do things a little bit differently, and we'll walk through that too. All we're gonna do now is kind of just gently stir it every few minutes. We got them in here. They're not perfectly symmetrical, but that's okay.
Yes, I do. Let's see.
So we do go ahead and just steam this. Sometimes I flash boil it, but we're not gonna be fancy today. We're trying to feed babies. Alright. Hey man, we're a butter family. I'm a butter mom.
Delicious.
A little salt. A little pepper. And this is a Laura Irene trick. A little sugar into this butter. Now, do I understand that it is sweet corn? Yes, I get that. I'm doing what my grandmother told me to do. She's about the only person that I listen to, so I'm gonna continue that. Stir this around so we don't have that burnt sugar at the bottom. We have 8 minutes left on our rice. We have our green beans going. I'm gonna go ahead and turn them down some because we've had them boiling on pretty high for a little bit, but I do like to cook those so they're really good and tender. And the longer you cook a can of green bean, the less can it tastes. Dad's mom, moved to the country with me, but she was a teacher also. It was a very old school. It was, you know, like Little House on the Prairie. All grades were in there. She also had 11 children. She was a really cool lady, and I did learn. Now this is Laura. This is not. This corn thing is hers, but you know, we like to put bacon grease in our vegetables and stuff, and she says, my mom also, you're not supposed to put animal products in vegetables. Just strange. You would think the one that was in the country would be like that, but she was very against it. But she was from closer that way originally. She was, I mean, it was central Louisiana, but she wasn't from up here. Now she was almost in Arkansas, moved all the way almost to Arkansas. So that's probably, maybe that's where it came from. Her family did not do the bacon grease and stuff like that. Interesting. All right, we're just gonna let that stay on the little warm until we finish this rice in 5 minutes, and then we're gonna be ready to feed everybody. Easy and delicious.